Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Lexa Peterson, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Chief Petty Officer Michael Davis. This evening we warmly welcome Mr. Greg Hood, representing the Air Force Association. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of St Lawrence's Catholic Primary School visiting from Coonabarabran, New South Wales. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students and visitors who are able to do so, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's first World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed at the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record that they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flight Sergeant Philip John Pearce, who was killed during the Second World War. Philip Pearce was born on the 11th of September 1924 in Fremantle, Western Australia, to Richard and Charlotte Pearce. His father was a labourer. Pearce attended Fremantle Boys' School. In 1941, he undertook part-time study in accountancy by correspondence and later found work as a shipping clerk. Having served for 10 months as a cadet with the Air Training Corps, Pearce enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 11th of October 1942, a month after his 18th birthday. He began training as an air gunner and in May 1943 was made sergeant. Pearce embarked for overseas service from Melbourne on the 27th of September 1943, arriving in the UK in November. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 RAF pilots, navigators, bomb aimers, wireless operators, air gunners and flight engineers who joined Australian and British squadrons in Britain throughout the course of the war. Further specialist training followed in England, and in November he was promoted to Flight Sergeant. On the 19th of June 1944, he joined No. 463 Squadron RAF in June. As part of Bomber Command, the squadron flew the 4-engined Avro Lancaster heavy bomber. On the night of the 18th of July, No. 463 Squadron launched 8 bombers as part of a major Royal Air Force raid on the railway junction at Revenay in France. Pearce was the mid-upper gunner with Lancaster JOG, which took off just before 11 p.m. While the target was all but destroyed, the Luftwaffe's defences were strong and no fewer than 24 of the 110 bombers failed to return to base. One, which was Pearce's Lancaster. Investigations later determined that the aircraft had exploded and crashed on the edge of Marne Canal, some 145 kilometres east of the target. Pearce was presumed to have been killed instantly, along with Australians Flying Officer Beverly Gifford, Warrant Officer Raymond Shipway, and Flight Sergeants John Boydell, Alan Fripp and Frank Spencer, as well as British Sergeant Harold Newell. The bodies of the crew could not be identified and they were buried in a communal grave at Revenue Cemetery. After the war, they were transferred to Cholway War Cemetery. Pearce lies there under the inscription, "Beautiful memories he left for us to keep." He was 19 years old. Flight Sergeant Philip Pearce's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, along with almost 40,000 others from the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flight Sergeant Philip John Pearce and all those Australians who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the slow scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.